So I'm sure you've heard in the last couple of days some interesting news. A school in Massachusetts has decided to not have Homer's the Odyssey in their libraries, not carry it anymore, and make it available for the students. So what do I think about that? Let's talk about that today. So some interesting news happened this week where, as I mentioned in the intro, a school in Massachusetts decided not to have Homer's the Odyssey available for students to read in their schools anymore because it was considered out of date, to say the least. And I'll post a link to this article in the description so you guys can read it, but there are several news sources that are covering it because they're calling it censorship and book burning. And the article I'm going to read a little bit from, just so you can get kind of an idea of what happened and what's going on. It's coming from Greek Reporter USA. They made it more, out of all the articles I've read, they kind of just flat out told what's going on so people could be more informed of what's going on. So the name of the article that I'm going to link and read from, it's called Odyssey Banned for Violence, Sexism, and Is This the End of World Classics? And that's a good question to have with the situation that's going on. So I'm just going to read little bits here and there, not the entire thing, just some of the stuff that's important. It says, Odyssey, Homer's classic of world literature, written in the time of ancient Greece, was recently banned in Lawrence, Massachusetts for portraying the ideas that do not conform to modern norms of behavior. The move, reported recently by the Wall Street Journal, appears to stem from a social justice movement created by Twitter users called Disrupt Texts. Its proponents believe that any world literature that does not portray the norms that they hold today in terms of gender roles, violence, and racial equality must be banned in interest of shaping a new generation that will not be allowed to come up into contact with concepts that they consider repugnant or even just outdated. Penelope, so here it is. This is one of the things they have against the Odyssey. So Penelope, Odysseus' wife, sitting at her loom patiently for 20 years while her hubby Odysseus goes off to fight in the Trojan War, is not the model of female behavior that teachers who espouse this new type of book banning want their students to emulate. But not only do they not want their students to emulate these behaviors, they want to ban the books they want to ban the books that portray violence, traditional gender roles, and racism, making sure that future generations will never learn about the many adventures of Odysseus and his companions as they made their way across the sea, fought against Troy, and wended their way back home after 20 years away. So it says also that books such as these, which provide a treasure of historical references and form the basis of educated people's understanding of the classical world, naturally contain violent images of battle and strife and portray the social milieu of the day. Until recently, however, teachers would focus on the tremendous literary and historical merits of the world of Homer and other ancient writers, leaving their students to come to their own conclusions as to whether to basically be like Penelope or not. Good points. So this got really under my skin because if you followed my channel long enough, Odysseus is a hero that I model a lot from. And it hurts me personally when someone wants to get rid of classic work. And especially calling it trash. They go that far to call it trash. So Shay Martin, who was described by the website called Love Letterati as a queer black teacher, researcher, and organizer who dreams and works towards liberation with teachers and students across the country, tweeted, "Be like Odysseus and embrace the long haul to liberation." And here's where she cuts it. "And then take the Odyssey out of your curriculum because it's trash," is what she said in June of this year. And then someone commented under her tweet and said, "Haha, very proud to say we got the Odyssey removed from the curriculum this year." And then someone wanted comments from her and a reporter, and she declined comment on her tweet or anything because she said that it was invasive. So I get where they're coming from about wanting to have a role model for the 21st century, I guess. So they're coming from a good place, but it hasn't. We've learned more from ancient stories, and they're threatening to take away. It's not just Homer's Odyssey. They're talking about a lot of famous classical works that teach us how people lived back then. And they miss the entire point of the story. There's more to it than Penelope sitting down and just waiting for her man to come home. They're missing the point of true love that waits, even if it takes to their death, that they're going to wait and just wait and keep faith in that they'll see their love again. That kind of thing they're missing from the story, outside of the historical texts of the way things were in the ancient days. And so when you take away stuff like that, things are lost. And I give more credit. I give more credit to students that read the Odyssey that 99% think it's a work of fiction, no more dangerous than any other thing else they read, anything else that's read. Even modern books can be more dangerously portrayed to women. But I give credit to the students and the people that read the books because they have a brain. I don't think that people that read about Penelope sitting there are going to model their life to be, for what they say, a woman, for example, that just sits around for her man to come home and does nothing else with her life more than cleans the house. That's what they are afraid of, but I read novels. I read books, and I don't come away thinking that's how I should live my life. If I don't agree with what they're doing, I don't do it in my personal life. And I know there are humans with a brain out there that we don't have to shield them because they can think for themselves. That's the moral of the story. We don't need to lose classical works like Homer's The Odyssey that has inspired people. People have been inspired spiritually and literally and in every sense of the form for thousands of years from that story. And those that haven't been inspired have found adventure, and they have found fun and excitement in these stories. So to say it's trash is a complete disrespect and untruth. It's an untruth. It's not trash. The historical text, it's like any other fictional work to the mass majority of people. And people have a brain, like I said, and they're not going to read a story and think, hey, that's me. I'm going to do that because Penelope's got it right. You know, some people, if they want to do that, that's their choice. But again, that's their choice, and nothing's ever changed about that. There you go. So before I go ranting or get off topic too much, it kind of upset me a lot, actually, because like I said, Odysseus and the story of Odysseus means a lot to me personally. So when someone attacks it and tries to have a generation not even grow up or know the story of Odysseus, that's scary and it's sad. What a great adventure they're missing out on. Yeah, let's not start banning books, because there are modern books that do even more harm or portray women in even worse ways more than a faithful wife just waiting for her husband. So, yeah. Anyway, guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye.